I paid off $43,000 worth of debt in just 13 months. And I'm making this video so that you could do the same in your life. Just copy what I did and paste it into your own finances. And this is to help you pay off your debt twice as fast. And if you don't believe me, it doesn't take as much money as you might think. Sometimes as little as an extra $100 a month in your finances applied to your debt to pay it off twice as fast. And you don't have to sacrifice the things that you love either. So you get the best of both worlds. So if I told you that you could do that, what is stopping you from finding an extra $100 in your finances? That's what I want to talk about. But instead of just telling you, I feel like it's way easier to show you. Okay. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here in 1 second, if you don't mind. Here is show you how $100 is so impactful in your debt. And then towards the end of this video, we're going to go over how to find that $100 in your finances. Okay. So we're going to do the fun part first, which is the outcome. So hopefully this helps you. So debt payment calculator, I've already input some, fake data in here just to show you an example. So basically what you're going to want to do here is actually down in the description of this video, there's a link to this file as well as other files that we'll be talking about today. So just go check that out. It's completely free for you. So we have basically we're just entering all of our creditor information, creditor type. So for this column, creditor type, you can just name it whatever you want. As you can see, I have credit card 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a student loan and a car loan. Okay. Current balances, I just picked random numbers in here. We're totaling $70,000. Interest rates here applying to all of these line items, and then the minimum payment for each of them. Okay. Again, these were sort of made up, but the minimum payment total comes to $850. Okay. So what this calculator does is it takes the information that you have and then it spits out an outcome for you. So we're going to be able to look at when you'll become debt-free based on your information that you input, how much interest on top of your debt you'll be paying based on the information that you'll be paying, and then which strategy is best for you. There's a couple strategies that we're going to talk about too. So there's a few things, and this is more just to kind of play around with, see where your stats are, and figure out the best solution for you. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about right now as well. So we input all our data. That's the top section. It's sort of the data entry portion. Okay. This middle section here is basically saying this monthly payment, how much money are we applying towards our debt every single month? So for the purposes of this example, let's just assume that we are making our minimum payments, exactly our minimum payments. Okay. $850. All right. And this initial snowball is basically saying how much extra money on top of your minimum payments are you applying towards your debt? So right now it's zero. If we were to put $1,000, it would show $150, right? This is just the difference, but this is monthly payment minus minimum payment, okay? Just to make it very simple for you. And that's all the data inputting that we'll be doing. Now, this bottom part is the strategy, okay? The actual calculator portion of the debt payment calculator. So there's two that I really want to talk to you about. There's two that you could go either way. It just kind of depends on what your preference is. So the first one we're going to talk about is the debt avalanche method. And with this, the calculator is going to prioritize your debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. So as you can see, I'm going to make this a little smaller for a second. Okay. So I just sort of randomly input here all of our data. As you can see, the avalanche, the calculator is lining up these based on the interest rate. So credit card 1 has the highest interest rate, and then it's credit card 3, 19%, and then credit card 2, 16%, et cetera, right? You get the point of that. And basically the impact of this strategy, the avalanche strategy, is that it's going to be the most cost efficient for you, because why are people in debt for so long? It's because of the interest, right? The interest is such a killer. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But the faster you could pay off the highest interest rates, the more money you're obviously going to be saving over the long run, which is great. Okay. The other strategy is the debt snowball method. And with this, the calculator, as you can see, I'll sort of toggle back and forth. You can see these changing as I'm changing the strategy, right? So the order is changing because with the snowball method, the calculator is prioritizing the smallest loan amount first, all the way down to the largest loan amount. So I'm not going to go through that same example, but it's basically ordering it from smallest, as you can see, to largest. Okay. And what I didn't mention with the debt avalanche method is when you're applying more money to this, so let's say again, we're doing that $1,000. We have $150 extra. That extra money, the important part of this section is the extra money would be applied to the first debt line item. Okay. So in this case, it's the car loan, which has the smallest balance. And on the Avalanche, it would be the one with the highest interest rate, which was credit card one in this example. Okay. So I just wanted to clear that up. So the benefit to the debt snowball method is likely, depending on the sizes of your loans, but you're going to be paying off, since it's the smallest loan first, you're going to be paying off the easiest one to get rid of first, which is your smallest loan. And it's just going to give you those quick wins. And in personal finances, quick wins and small wins are really, really important. Okay. Because too many people fall off the wagon when they're doing a personal finance thing, when they're trying to stay consistent and just build up a habit. They don't see wins in a short enough time period and they just fall off. So if you put your smallest debt amount first, then you're going to pay it off faster. It's just simple math, right? So that could be helpful. And part of this calculator, again, is showing the debt type. And then this new column is, these three columns are new here. So we have interest paid. So this is the amount of interest approximately based on each of these loan amounts, and the strategy we selected and all of the stats that we put up here. Okay. Months to pay off. So these two are pretty aligned. How many months is it to pay off this line item? And then what is the date that is expected it to be paid off? So this is really fun to look at. And this is kind of what we're going to be playing around with in a second. I'm going to switch this back to our minimum payment, and I'm going to switch back to the Avalanche method because either one is good, like I said. So when I was paying down $43,000 worth of debt in the 13 months, my wife and I, we kind of stumbled into the snowball method because we had maybe 5 or 6 loans that were under $1,200. And we didn't even know about these strategies back when we were doing this, but we were just like, it would make so much sense if we were just able to knock out these small ones really quickly. So we go from 12 loans to, we'll call it 7 loans in like a few months because they were just really small and we could just knock them out. We were just being lazy and we didn't pay them off. It was really stupid. Okay. But this one is the Avalanche method. If you have a little more thick skin for this stuff and you feel like you don't need the win, but you want to, save some money, this is the best way. It's going to pay down faster. It's just mathematically going to be paid down faster. So back to how $100 can pay off your debt twice as fast. Okay. And I like to call this, I like to, create a little branding behind this and call it the power of $100. Again, $100 does not sound like a lot of money in the grand scheme of everything, but it can pay off your debt twice as fast just finding an extra $100. Okay. So let's go through the stats again. So we're paying a minimum payment of $850. We have our $70,000 in debt. Okay. That's how much we owe. And then the interest, which is a forgotten piece for a lot of people right now, in this example is $135,000. And that is, we're not even talking about the original balance here. So it's going to be $70,000 plus $135,000 because of all the interest that we're going to be paying with this, which is insane. And that's why people just stay in debt for too long, guys. Like the video, if you feel like you've been in debt for too long, it just gives me a good sort of context. Because I don't think people realize this. You're sitting at home, you're like, okay, I have $70,000 in debt. It's a lot of money, but like, yeah, we'll make it work. And you're not thinking about this. So I just want to make that very clear that you have to think about the interest associated with it. You don't just owe $70,000. You only owe $70,000 if you pay it back within the terms of, 0 interest. But when there's interest involved, you owe a lot more. And if it keeps piling on, you owe a lot more. So $135,000 of interest just by making our minimum payment. So only by doing the bare minimum, we still have $135,000. And then I'm recording this video in January 2025. Happy New Year to everyone watching this shortly after it gets posted. So basically, this strategy of paying off our debt with the minimum payments at $70,000 in debt takes 20 years to pay off. Okay. So that's a long time. It's a long time. And if you're really serious about paying down your debt, we have to find a way to make it a lot faster, because we don't pay down the debt just to pay down the debt and get a financial goal and become debt free. Like, debt is the least efficient thing that you can do with your money. So the faster that we can get out of it, the faster you can apply that money towards a more powerful financial goal, like your retirement or your kids' financial future, their education, other goals like a savings thing, whatever you want to do, like save for a house. Getting rid of the debt is going to significantly help you do that. So here's where the power of $100 comes in. So if we made, if we change this from $850 to $950, so we're just adding $100, okay? The power of $100. I'm going to scroll down here, and what I want you to do is look at these numbers and these dates here. So once I hit enter, these are going to change. So the total interest paid right now with our minimum payments is $135,000. And our debt-free date is March 2045. So I'm going to hit enter. Boom. This basically got chopped in half. So now we're at $68,000 of interest. We went from 135 to 68,000. Okay, just from an extra $100. And look at this. We saved, I believe it's like 8 years. Yes, we saved 8 years. Pretty impressive. Okay. I think it's just under, let's see. So 200, it's going to take 242 months to become debt free. And if we add the $100, okay, so we need to add a little more for it to be technically 2 times faster. So that would be like $1,000, something like that. Yeah, that's a lot closer. But like, okay, you get the point. So even if it's, how thrilled would you be if you're able to save? It's basically double. So $68,000. If you're able to save that, and 8 years of your life of being in stress and being in debt. Now, again, I'm recording this in 2025. This is still 12 years. Okay. So it's still a very, very long time. So we have to keep finding ways to be a little more aggressive, a little more intentional with paying off our debt. Because again, it's the least efficient way. It's the least efficient thing to do with your money, is to be in debt and not pay it off as fast as possible. Okay. So that's the power of $100, but it works both ways, guys. It doesn't just work positively. So if you're someone who, you're not sure if you're making your minimum payments, or you're not consistent with making your minimum payments, here's what could happen too. Okay. So let's just say we'll call it the power of 100, but this time it's the negative, right? So I want you to also look down here again and see what happens. I'm going to be paying $100 less than our minimum payments. And remember, $135,000 in March 2045. Yeah. So it went up another $11,000 in like 2+ years. Okay. Just from an extra $100. And we could keep going all the way down. This is a big, that's a big impact. So now we're at 163,000 with paying $100 less. And now we added 3+ more years, right? You see what's happening here. So goal number 1, figure out a way to make your minimum payments. Like you have to find a way, because this calculator is not even calculating any extra fees. It's just assuming interest that would be paid. It's not assuming fees that are associated with the specific lender and the agreement that you signed up for or whatever. So this could be even worse, because again, there's no fees. So find a way. I know for a lot of people, $850 a month is a lot. So if you're not making that, we have to figure out a way first to get to that. But then once we make that, like, we have to figure out a way to increase it even more. Because again, we can do the same thing. Like if we go up again, it's $1,200 a month, and that probably sounds insane to some of you, right? But now we're down to $36,000 of interest, and we're down to June 2032. So like, it's just going to keep dramatically going down, both of those things, with just small increments of money that we're adding. Okay. So I hope this was helpful for you, because this is something that I wish I had when I was paying off my debt. I'm going to show you my old debt file. It's pretty small and not that great. So I'm showing you this because anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. So when my wife and I were paying off our debt, it was the end of 2019. Okay. We just had a basic. So my wife's name's Katie. I'm Chris. We had shared debt. Okay. We each had our own debt. we were 2 bank accounts when we started, and then we merged kind of into 1 bank account. It was kind of messy, and all we did was, hey, here's this loan, and then what's the balance at the at each of these dates. And each of these dates, by the way, represents us having a 5 to 10-minute meeting on our couch in our living room. Yes, I initiated these meetings, not my wife, and yes, she was rolling her eyes as we were doing them, but as we were progressing, she obviously saw the value, right? Because obviously I'm the numbers guy in the family. But anyway, anyone could do it this way. So if you're intimidated by looking at this, just do this. It's literally, what is my debt? What's my balance? And then trying to figure out what's the most painful one, or what are the smallest ones. So as you can see, like, we quickly got rid of these smaller ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there was 4 under. So maybe I was thinking about this one when I said $1,200. It was $1,500, but really 5 around $1,500 or less. And these are the ones that we focus on. We got rid of. So again, this file, this version is in the description of this video, not the other one. That's just in my archived folder that no one will ever see except for you guys. Okay, so feel special about that. Great. Also, kind of what I just went over, I talk about tremendously in this new free course and community that I just created for you guys. Okay, let me make this a little bigger. I want to dive into this a little bit and show you. So this is Dollar Discipline University. It's for people that want to try to take control of their money. And the goal, the outcome, is to pay off your debt faster, twice as fast, right? And we just went through that example, how it's possible. And later in this video, we're going to show you how to find that extra money in your finances. So it's not just, hey, look how cool this could be. It's, no, you can do this too. We can toggle around with this debt payment calculator. You could play around with this number all day long and you'll see the outcomes. You can switch it back and forth from the snowball and the avalanche to see like which option is best for you. But let's talk about Dollar Discipline University. This link is also in the description. Okay, so school.com/debt. And I want to kind of talk to you really quickly about what you would get inside of this. It's completely free, by the way. I haven't mentioned that. It's completely free. It will always be free. And right now, since it's pretty new, there's 10 people in here. 10 people that are really excited about, learning to pay down their debt faster. Because of that, my calendar is not full, guys. So I want my calendar to be full of people that I want to help for free going through this course and taking calls with me. So basically what you're going to get is free one-on-one strategy calls with me. I want to set you up to win. Okay. I want you to be able to step away from this group, this community, this course, and be like, I learned something and I won. Okay. So whatever that takes for me, like I said, fill up my calendar. Free tracking tools. So this link is down in the description of this video, but I just like to sample it here so that way people can see like, hey, what am I getting myself into? Personalized plans. So that's what I'm talking about on the phone. We're going to see where you're standing financially. We're going to talk through some strategies that work for you. Right now, I'm speaking generally, as specifically as I can, but generally, because there's going to be people that watch this. But when we're on the phone together, going through your numbers, it's going to be your plan. Okay. The proven method to find $100 or more. Okay. We're going to talk about that a little later on in the video. But again, this would be a personalized session for you. And the proven strategies to pay down your debt faster. A motivated community to help keep you accountable. Accountability is the most important thing. And really there's 3, I call them pillars, okay, for personal finances. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second so I can talk about this. 3 pillars that I think in personal finances are critical. So the first one is awareness, okay? If you've never really thought about your money, you've never tracked your money, you've never had like real financial goals that you think you can reach or want to reach, that's just awareness, okay? We want to know where we are now, maybe where we want to get to. That's helpful, right? Because I like using this fitness example because people can understand it. If I was trying to lose weight, let's say I wanted to lose 20 pounds, okay? The awareness of that would be, I need to know how much I weigh today to be able to know what 20 pounds is off of that, right? And if I don't want to step on a scale, I've never stepped on a scale, I have no plans on stepping on a scale, then my awareness is crap because I have to be looking at the situation head on. I have to step on the scale. I have to look down at the number and I have to see what I weigh so I know what I can, how it, what's 20 pounds less than that, right? Basically. Um, and yes, the first time I do it will be scary. I'm sure of it because maybe you haven't ever, looked at your finances or looked at your weight before and it's kind of nerve wracking, but you're in control of your finances, like their personal finances. You're personal for a reason. Okay. So you're in control. So whatever happened in the past, whatever's happened and you don't feel like you can fix it, you can. Like you're in control of everything. Okay. 10 years ago, I didn't even know how much money I had in my bank account to the nearest like $1,000. And it actually almost cost me the biggest purchase of my life up until that point, which was a new car because I needed a new car 10 years ago. I still have that car, by the way. They let me drive off the lot when I told them to, hey, cash that check on Tuesday, not today, please. But it was like a wake up call for me because I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I went to college for accounting. And in my head, I built myself up this person that was like organized, good with numbers, good with, finances, whatever. And I was just like, I was so embarrassed in myself that I was like, you are not being the person that you're telling all these people that you are. So it was a real like wake up call for me. And from that moment, I was like, I have to figure something out. And what I did was I just started tracking my bank account. That was the first thing I did. So it was how much is that, how much is in my bank account the beginning of this month? Okay, now it's the next month. How much is in there? Oh, is it going up or down? Okay, great. And then it turned into, well, I should probably know like where, like how the money's being spent. Like how is it going up and down, right? Is it like did I spend less? Did I have extra bills this month? Like what's the general gist of why it went up or down? And then it was like, well, I really need to like dive into each expense category. I need to understand my income because my income, I was sort of I was like a salary employee with overtime kind of thing. So it was kind of fluctuating back then. And I just wanted to understand it and it kept getting more and more and more intentional. Okay. Similar to this, the debt file that I talk about. Similar to this, like anyone can start this. Anyone can just track your bank account. You could just track it. Just start there. So if you're intimidated about not knowing what to do or how to do it with your finances, just start with what you think is the most simple thing. Because that's the only thing that's going to work for you. I can sit up here all day and tell you what I did and what I think would work for you. But if you don't think it's going to work for you, then you need to find another way, find an easier way to start, like I did with the bank account, and then go from there. Okay, that's why I make these tools to try and help you as much as possible. And I'm not sharing my screen, but I make these tools so that I think I can help you with. So if you download this and you try it out and you don't like it for some reason, I'd love to just get feedback because I really just want to help you win. So this is Dollar Discipline University. Again, link is down in the description of this video. There's quick and easy course in here for you. Okay, very actionable. I'm going to walk you through the whole process. And then there's posts in here. And again, we have a small amount of people, but that's because it's new and I want to get more people in here. So if you're interested, everything's completely free. This is free. The calls with me are free. I just want you to win. Okay. So back to the content here, as they say. Does anyone say that? I don't know. Let's go to this file. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing again quickly just so we can talk. So that first part, we figured out how to, 2x faster our debt, pay it down twice as fast. And now we're going to find out how to find that kind of money in our finances. Okay. So the problem that people have that I see after talking with people and working with people is people sort of cringe at the thought of the word budget. And I'm not really sure why. It's sort of like a swear word for some people. And I think because after getting some feedback, I think it's because people see it as a way of this thing that's going to restrict their life. People, if you're from the United States, you probably know who Dave Ramsey is, or he's international, I suppose. He's like a personal finance guru, right? He's been doing this for decades and he has a very intense approach about it. It's worked. He has a lot of people that have gone through his, his plan, his program, whatever. But he basically has the idea that a budget is restrictive and is like supposed to be restrictive. But how I like to think about it is a budget doesn't tell us what we can't do with our money. It tells us what we can do with our money. And it's all about being intentional. Everything is about being intentional. Okay. So the debt thing, that's all cool. Like we can see the numbers like, oh, cool, let me plug in this number. But the actuality is you still have to be able to, find the money in your finances. You still have to be determined enough to be able to want it, because it's not something that's just going to happen. It needs you, and you need accountability. So, what? I realized I was talking about the three pillars before, and I didn't talk about the other two. So the first one was awareness. Okay. This is what happens live, people, right? We got to get in the flow of things. The first one is awareness. We went through that. The second one is strategy. Okay. So once we know where we're at and possibly where we want to go, what does getting there look like? So that's the strategy part. And then the third is accountability. Okay. So basically, like, obviously things are going to come up. It's hard to stay consistent, especially when you're doing a new thing, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So what I'd recommend is getting some sort of accountability partner. Okay. So whether you have a significant other, that's easy enough. You could have a friend, a coworker. You can jump inside of Dollar Discipline University, because you'll at least have me in there. And right now there's a good amount of people that could also, you could introduce yourself, and everyone could talk about their own situation, right? Get an accountability partner. I don't have an exact stat on this because I didn't really believe what I was seeing, but there's some studies out there that say people are 65 to 95% more likely to achieve the thing if they have someone that they can keep them accountable. So again, if we use fitness, for example, are you more likely to go to the gym when it's just by yourself, or you have a gym buddy and not going means that they're going to go by themselves, or possibly they're going to just not go either. So you're both keeping yourself accountable. It works in personal finances too. Okay. I'm just going to take a quick swig here. Okay. So let's dive into the next part. This is, everyone's favorite B word, right? This is our budget template. Okay. This is the budget template. And this portion is what's called the 3-month look back. So this is the process that we want to do before our budget. Okay. But first, really what we want to think about is, what are we trying to accomplish? So what are the most important things in your life or in your finances? It's really important to get a list of things. It could be 1, 2, 5 things. It doesn't matter, but everyone's list should be different. But what's important to you? Okay. So I'll tell you, for me, like if I was doing this list right now and I was starting this exercise from scratch, I would put one. So I'm married. I've got 2 kids. So just being there for them. Healthy. Like I need to be healthy for myself, for my family. There's some financial goals in there. Like obviously, I'm starting Dollar Discipline, right? So that's kind of like a business aspect that I'm trying to grow. That I would put that on there as a top priority. But really, it's my family and my health and fitness, and that's kind of it right now. And there's obviously, like, there's money stuff in there too, but what's most important to you? And then we need to figure out how we're going to align our money towards those things. And that's the part of it where you don't have to cut back the things that are most important to you, because those are the things that you should be pushing all your money to. So in your case, if you're watching this video, it's probably because you want to pay down your debt faster in 2025, and you want to just be more intentional with where your money's going. So if paying off your debt is one of those things, then we have to start making some tougher decisions. But if paying off our debt is a North Star goal, so that's what I like to call it. It's like every decision now goes through your North Star goals, like your life goals and your financial goals. So the list that you make, all decisions need to be made through that. So it's like, okay, is doing this thing going to positively impact anything on this list? If it's yes, then great, you do that thing. If it's no, then maybe we need to reassess, buying that thing or going to that place. Because if you want to win, that's just how you have to do it. You have to get a bucket of things and push all your time, effort, money, resources, whatever, towards those things, and they're just going to happen faster. Okay. So let's talk about the 3-month look back. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Yeah. So these are just some random expense categories here. And what we want to do, again, I'm recording this video in January 2025. So what we want to do is look back 3 months of our variable expenses. So in this case, October, November, December. And like I said, I have a few variable expense categories here. This file is also down in the description of this video. It's completely free. In this section, you're able to change whatever you want. So feel free to add as many things as you want in here. Remember, this is just your variable expenses. So think groceries, gas, utilities, things that you spend every month, but it fluctuates every month. It's not like a fixed expense, which would be like your rent or mortgage, maybe like your car insurance payment, or I don't know, a child daycare thing. Things that we know what the cost of is every single month. That's not what this purpose is. The purpose is to find things, to look at all the money that we spent on variable items. Okay. So I am going to save you some time, and I entered some numbers before this video. So I've entered my October spending, my November spending, and my December spending. Okay. These are just fake numbers. And what this does is it now gives us an average for each expense category. So, okay, groceries, we've averaged $523, gas, $93, utilities, $253, et cetera, et cetera. And we go down the list. And then we take out that list of those North Star goals that we have, and we see where our money's been going, and if it's aligned with the stuff on the list. And if this is the first time you're doing this, it's most likely not going to be aligned, and that's okay. That's why we're doing this. We're improving, we're changing, we're fixing, we're being intentional. So after you look back and forth at your spending, and then your North Star goal, you're like, you know what? I really need to let's create new budget amounts for these variable items based on the average, and then based also on how important that thing is. So again, I've spent some time and went through some of that. So we have these numbers here. So you could see, so red here, so this is our new budget amount, and the red is taking our average actual. So for groceries, it's $523, and it's subtracting our new budget amount. And red means that we're actually going to be spending more than our budget, or sorry, than our spending. And green means that we're going to be spending less than our budget, okay? Than our spending. So the whole point of this is to, again, align our spending with our goals. And the most important part of this step is the why. Why is this important? Why are we doing this? And that's column J. So what action will you take to make this happen? Now, let's talk about health and fitness first, because I talked about that as one of like my things that are important. It might not be important to you, but just to show you as an example. So let's say you have a gym membership, and I don't know, you take like an extra class here or there, whatever. That's why it's sort of a variable expense for you. But it's on your list of like top 3 or 4 things to be healthy and to be fit. So it's like, wow, I'm only spending $30 a month on something that I say is extremely important in my life. So it's like, okay, well, if I'm being honest with myself, I probably need to be spending more money. So let's just say we're going to spend $60 a month. I don't know. Maybe it's extra classes. Maybe you do a smoothie at the front desk. I don't know. So the why here is going to be, let's say, more classes, right? Because you're like, oh, I take 1 a week, but maybe I should go to like 3 a week, or whatever the thing is. I don't know how expensive those are. So I don't know, but that could be your why. Okay. And then you look down here and you see dining out. By the way, the people that I work with on their personal finances, dining out, food delivery, this is the thing that shocks people, how much money they spend. Okay. So if you don't want to do this full process, I would just look at your dining out, your bar tabs, your food delivery. People are shocked with how much they're actually spending. So let's start there first. Okay. But you see this, you're also shocked. You're like, oh my God, $213 a month. Like, I just thought I got like something here or there. I didn't realize it was this high. So your new budget amount would be $50. And you're like, well, what action am I going to take to make this happen? And you say, okay, so like more more cooking at home / meal prep, whatever. So that's kind of what we're doing with that. And then tied to the dining out, and why I wanted to talk about this first, the groceries. Okay. So yeah, why would we spend more on our groceries? Well, because we need to spend less on dining out. So we could even probably increase this even more, right? And this is going to be, more food in fridge, whatever, and then meal prep every meal, whatever. I don't know how to spell. It's fine. You guys get it. I'm going to spell it out. Meal prep. Okay, whatever. So aligning our spending with what's important to us, and then the why, because anyone could just say, oh, I think I should just spend this amount on this category this month, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So figuring out, understanding where your problem is in your spending and how it's not aligned. So you could look at dining out again and be like, oh wow, okay. So the next time you think about dining out or getting food delivery, it's like, okay, is this thing going to help my my North Star goals? Is it going to help me pay down my debt faster? Is it going to help me be more fit? Is it going to help me whatever's on your list? And most people that I'm working with are finding that this is not actually a priority. So then it's like, okay, now we just need to readjust what we've been doing. And as you can see, like just by doing this, it's $163 a month that we were able to find and just be more efficient with it and put that money towards the financial goal of paying down debt. So the coolest part of this is the totals down here. So we've been tracking our monthly savings on the line item basis, but now we look down here and we're like, wow, I didn't have to like get a second job or a side hustle or sell those weird Beanie Babies that I have in my basement to make any money. And I just found an extra $123 a month. That's pretty cool. That would help out here for sure, our debt, right? So if we went back to our minimum payments of $850 and we added $120, 970, boom. Right. So as you can see, it's very, very helpful. Oh, because I was on Snowball. That's why I was like, why is this less than before? Got it. Yeah. So the Avalanche is going to be way better option. Anyway, in this example, right? Try it out for yourself. See what's better for your example. But yeah, the $120 looks pretty good now. Way better than just making our minimum payments, right? So we go back to the budget template here, our 3-month look back. And just a caveat here, this process is a pain in the ass. Just going to be super honest with you. It's a pain in the ass. You have to go back 3 months. You have to look at all your bank statements, all your credit card statements. If you use cash, you kind of have to figure out a number that works for you. You kind of have to remember back. It's a pain in the ass. Everyone hates doing it. But after they do it, they're like, wow, this really opened my eyes to spending in XYZ categories. And now we're going to take that money and just push it towards paying off our debt, which is awesome. And I love hearing that. So if it feels like it's going to be daunting, it will be daunting. Like this is going to be daunting, but then it's a one-time investment of looking it over for like months and months of amazing outcome, right? So if we find $123 a month, that's almost $1,500 a month, a year. Sorry, $1,500 a year. And what could you do with $1,500 a year? It's pretty great. And it's just because we were more intentional with our finances. We wanted to see what was happening with our finances and just try to win with it. So now in our budget template, I'm going to make this slightly smaller. Okay, cool. I'm not going to go through the full tutorial of how to do this. Again, this is down in the description. There's a video tutorial inside of the budget template, which breaks down exactly how to do it. Again, I go into way more depth and detail in Dollar Discipline University if you want to check it out that way too. But basically, our variable expense budget that we did rolls forward into our budget. So you'll see here, these are our budgeted amounts. And we did this whole process, right? So we could align our spending with our goals, but also so that we could figure out a budget amount for our variable expenses. Because if you've never done this before, you just kind of be guessing, and it might take you a few months to get a good number. Whereas if you just take the average, get a new budget amount, boom, it just slides right over to this tab here. And then, sorry guys, I'm extra coffee today. Hold on one second. Awesome. I usually don't talk for 42 minutes straight, so my voice is a little is going, but basically, again, I'm not going to go through the deep dive here, because the most important part for this video and for the paying off your debt 2 times faster is this process, the 3-month look back. But basically what you want to do is have your budget be associated with how much money you're making every month. So your expected income. So I just have 2 paychecks here. You make, say, $2,200 a paycheck, and your expected income is $4,400. So using that, the template is based off a strategy called the zero-based budgeting strategy. And basically what that is every dollar that comes in, you allocate that dollar to a specific spot inside your budget. Okay. And this is how we keep kind of getting better and improving and being intentional, because if you know where all your money's going, there shouldn't be like the end of the month shouldn't come and you shouldn't be like, oh, I didn't do the thing I wanted to do. Because I think what a lot of people do is they live their life, they go week to week to week to week to week, and then it's the end of the month and they're like, oh crap, I have no money in my bank account. I really wanted to put money towards my debt, or more money towards my debt, or I haven't been able to save any money this month. It's like, okay, I got it. I'll be more responsible next month. Got it. And then life happens again, week. And then you get to the end of the month, like, crap, it happened again. It's because, and if you're vibing with that, let me know if that's kind of your situation, if that's what's been going on in your life. Let me know down in the comments or wherever you're at, wherever you're watching this video. Because I think that happens a lot because you're not being intentional with anything with your personal finances. Okay. So do what I did 10 years ago, and at least just start tracking your bank account if this seems too intimidating to start. But basically, you want to almost get to a point where you're paying your need items. So obviously all the things you need to live, important distinction, need, not wants, need. You don't need, I don't know, daily coffee at, Dunkin' or Starbucks. You don't need those. You need a roof over your head in today's day and age, utilities, electricity, people have cell phone bills. We need that stuff most likely. So find the things that you need. And then after that, we want to budget in our financial goals, because trust me when I tell you, when you do it that way, when you do need items, financial goal, then want items, you're prioritizing obviously the need items, but then you're prioritizing the financial goals over your want items. So when you get to the end of the month, it's, oh, I have $100 extra that I can maybe put towards a fun category, or I can just put more towards my financial goals, whatever. But too many people are doing need and want like together. They're not even thinking about separating them. And then it's, crap, I have no money for financial goals. And if you want to think about financial goals like this, every dollar you put towards a financial goal, so paying down your debt, doing your emergency fund, I'm going to stop. So you can see my beautiful face a little larger. Every time you spend $1 towards a financial goal, you're slowly pulling your future closer to you. Okay. So that's the visual I want. It's going to start off feeling really, really small. Like you're pulling like this little tiny, like fishing line or something. It's really thin. And then as you keep going, you're pulling more and more, and it's like you're gaining momentum. And then you've got that huge, like tug of rope thing that these huge people that, tug of war rope, right? And that's how it happens. That's how it worked for me. You just slowly start building it, and you start building momentum. You start getting wins, and you're like, oh, I'm doing it. And that's why I want you to keep building small wins every week, every month, every year. Like small wins lead to you continuing to do it, and you're going to give yourself positive feedback, because that's a big part of this too. It's not just numbers. It's not just math. there's a lot of like mental stuff going on and like your own psyche, and you don't think you're good enough or smart enough or whatever to do this, but trust me, you are. Trust me. Um, so that's basically it on this live stream, guys. I hope you find value. I'm going live. I want to keep this consistent. Okay. I'm being intentional. I'm being intentional. Going live every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm on the East Coast in the United States. 7:30 Eastern Pacific. Nope. 7:30 Eastern. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully it's right around my kids' bedtime. So hopefully, if it's delayed a couple minutes, you'll know why. My kids were in bed and causing problems. But this is what I want to do. So let me know in the comments below this video what kind of information what are you struggling with the most when it comes to managing your money or your debt, or trying to figure out a budget, or just knowing what to do with your money. I don't talk about investing on this channel. Down the line, I plan on sort of evolving dollar discipline into this much larger personal finance thing, just so you're aware. But right now, I think the most important thing that someone needs to do in their personal finances is going from zero to, meaning like, not, you haven't started anything with your personal finances, which is fine. We're starting today, right? And then doing the least efficient thing, paying off your debt. Not doing the least efficient thing. Debt is the least efficient thing. So going from not starting to, holy crap, I have a lot of debt, how do I pay it off faster? And then through that time, you're going to have some great money management skills. And then from there, you take it to the next step where you're actually trying to like build your wealth. Because right now, when you're paying off your debt and you have a lot of debt, it's the biggest wealth killer for you. And it's the biggest wealth generator for those that are, receiving all this money here. I'm not sharing my screen, but yeah, the $135,000 that we talked about, earlier. So someone's on the other end of that. So you'd probably prefer to keep that in your pocket, right? Am I right? And if for some reason you're watching, I appreciate you. Go to Dollar Discipline University. Check it out here. School.com/debt. Okay. It's in the description of this video. I want to help you for free. Now, if you're seeing this video in like 2 years, it might not be free anymore. But right now, January 2025, everything is free in here. My help, my tools, everything is in here that you would possibly need. Okay. So school.com/debt. Help me help you. And yeah, hopefully I can return the favor. So have a good one, guys. Have a good night. I'll see you next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. See you then.